Why does it feel so good to dream about your future, but so hard to actually do anything about it? Why does planning feel like progress even when nothing changes? There's a brain trap behind this, and a specific protocol that fixes it. In this video, I'll break down both. Chapter 1. The Trap. So let's start with the trap. You've probably heard the advice 1,000 times. Visualize your success. Picture the life you want. See it clearly. Feel it deeply, and your brain will find a way to make it real. I'm talking about vision boards, manifestation journals, that whole see it to believe it thing. I first came across this in The Secret documentary. For years, I tried vision boards and various visualization techniques. Unfortunately, I got moderate to no success with it. I always thought that I must be doing something wrong. Then I came across this study by psychologist Gabriele Oettingen at NYU. She spent over 20 years testing this see it to believe it idea. And what she found is kind of disturbing. The more vividly you fantasize about a positive future, the less energy you actually have to pursue it. Not just mentally, physically. In her studies, when people sat down and really imagined their ideal outcome, their systolic blood pressure dropped. Their bodies literally relaxed, the same way you'd relax after actually finishing something hard. Your brain basically went, "Oh, we got the thing. Nice, time to chill." Except you didn't get the thing. You just imagined getting it. And your brain couldn't tell the difference. Your brain has a reward system that runs on anticipation and satisfaction. When you vividly picture yourself crushing that goal, your brain gets a little taste of the reward. And that tiny hit is enough to take the edge off. Your brain switches to rest mode because as far as it's concerned, the job is partly done. Now think about this in the context of your own life. Have you ever spent an entire Sunday planning New Year's resolutions? January 1st, you're buzzing. You can see the new version of yourself so clearly. You buy the gym membership, the running shoes, the journal. By February, you've been to the gym just a handful of times. Same trap. The feeling of becoming that person was so vivid that your brain filed it as progress. Now here's where this gets deeper. Your brain has two networks in a constant tug of war. First, the daydreaming network. This is the part that's active when you're fantasizing, planning, imagining your future self. Second, the doing network. This is the part that fires when you're focused and actually taking action. They suppress each other. When one is on, the other goes off. Like a seesaw. You're either dreaming or doing, not both. So when you spend hours daydreaming, reorganizing your notion, filling out another planner, pinning things to your vision board, you're keeping the dreaming network running. The doing network stays off. You feel productive because your brain is busy, but it's busy in the wrong network. Here's where the stakes go up. Oettingen found that positive fantasies don't just kill your motivation. They predicted worse real-world outcomes. Students who fantasized about a great career sent out fewer job applications and got fewer offers. People who fantasized about a romantic relationship were less likely to actually pursue one. And here's the thing that really got me. When researchers checked back months later, the people who fantasized the most showed more symptoms of depression because the gap between the fantasy and reality just kept growing. UCLA researchers Pham and Taylor found something that makes this even clearer. They split students into two groups before a midterm. One group visualized getting a great grade. The other visualized the process of studying, sitting at the desk, working through problems. The outcome visualizers improved by 2 points. The process visualizers improved by 8, 4 times better, because visualizing the process activated the doing network instead of the dreaming one. So here's where you are if this sounds familiar. Every vivid dream, every detailed plan, every "this is finally the year" declaration has been quietly draining the energy you need to actually do the thing. And most people blame themselves. They label themselves as lazy or indisciplined. Nothing is wrong with you. Your brain is doing what brains do. It's just a program that backfires when you point it at your biggest ambitions. Now here's the fix. But before that, I built a free kit for everything in this video. It starts with a diagnostic that scores how deep you are in the fantasy trap, then walks you through every step of the protocol I'm about to show you. Grab it using the link in the description. Chapter 2, The Fix. It's called mental contrasting, and it works like this. Instead of just imagining the positive outcome, you imagine the positive outcome, and then immediately confront the main obstacle standing in your way. Dream, then obstacle. No gap. Remember the blood pressure drop? When you add obstacle thinking right after the positive fantasy, your blood pressure actually rises. Your body goes from "we did it, time to relax" to "wait, there's something in the way, we need to mobilize." The dreaming network hands off to the doing network. Same person, same dream. But with one added step, the entire neurological response reverses. Now here's the 4-step protocol around it. It's called WOOP. Now before I walk you through it, one thing about this protocol that's critical. The order of the steps matters. If you flip any of it, the whole thing stops working. Here's how the 4 steps work. W is for wish. Pick one specific thing you want to achieve, not be successful, not get healthier, something concrete. Lose 3 kilos in the next 6 weeks. Or go for a run 3 mornings this week. The more specific the wish, the better this works. Get in shape is a fantasy. Run Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday at 7 a.m. is a wish. The first O is for outcome. Now imagine the best possible outcome of achieving this wish. How would it feel? What would change? Let yourself enjoy the fantasy for a moment. This is the part most people already do naturally. And on its own, this is the trap. But you're not stopping here. The second O is for obstacle. Ask yourself, what is the main internal obstacle that's most likely to get in the way? Not external stuff like, I don't have time. Internal. What inside you tends to sabotage this? Maybe it's the urge to order takeout instead of cooking. Maybe it's that voice that whispers, you can start next week. Name it. Be specific. And picture yourself encountering that obstacle. Feel what it feels like when it shows up. This is the step that flips the switch. Your brain goes from nice dream to, okay, there's a problem to solve. The doing network comes online. The next word, P, is for plan. Create a simple if-then plan for when the obstacle shows up. For example, if I feel the urge to order takeout after work, then I'll pull out the prepped ingredients I set aside on Sunday and start cooking within 5 minutes of getting home. If that voice says start next week, then I'll put on my running shoes and just walk out the door. That's it. The plan doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to exist before the moment arrives. Let me walk you through what this looks like with a full example. Say your wish is, eat a healthy home-cooked dinner at least 5 nights this week. Outcome, you picture yourself at the end of the week, feeling lighter, more in control, saving money. You actually enjoyed the meals. That feels really good. Obstacle, you know exactly what happens. You get home tired after work, the kitchen feels like too much effort, and your phone is right there with Uber Eats 1 tap away. That's your obstacle. The fatigue plus the convenience of delivery. Plan, if I get home and feel too tired to cook, then I'll use the meal I prepped on Sunday and just heat it up. No decisions, no effort. It's already done. 3 minutes of thinking. But in those 3 minutes, you've connected the dream to the obstacle and created a response for when reality shows up. Now here's something about WOOP that most people don't mention, and I think it's the most interesting part. Sometimes when you get to the obstacle step and you really sit with it, you realize the wish isn't worth pursuing. The obstacle is too big, or the wish was never really yours. The cost is more than you're willing to pay. And WOOP makes you quit. That sounds like a failure, but it's actually the smartest thing about this protocol. It's not just a motivation tool. It's a filter. It helps you go harder on goals that are genuinely feasible. And it helps you let go of the ones that were just pleasant fantasies, draining your energy in the background. So, if you've spent years dreaming big and wondering why nothing moves, now you know what's been happening. Your brain has been treating the dream as the finish line. WOOP is how you tell it the race hasn't started yet. Try it once this week. Pick one thing you've been putting off, run it through WOOP, and see what happens when your brain stops dreaming and starts solving.